two commissioners with the City of Peterborough. Sheldon was briefing us on the arenas issue, and there's lots more to talk about that, and we'll, if we have a chance, we'll get back to that today, but if not, we'll do that in the future. Cynthia, one of the things that's happening in the City of Peterborough, it happened to me tonight because I asked my producer to have you folks call in a bit early, and I got here after you called in because I had four changes of lights I had to wait for on Sherbrooke Street, turning left onto Goodfellow. Right. And, so I'm just wondering, this transportation master plan we've heard about quite a bit. We've got a lot of development going on in the city. Tell us a bit about what it is and what it will resolve. And, how do you take a study and turn it into actions?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Jay. The transportation master plan is really that overarching document. It's got a number of feeder studies that go into it, so it's really that big document that will guide a number of different things as we move forward. So to your point, one of the things that we've got underway is a traffic signalization and optimization project to look at some new technology related to our signals, our traffic signals, and how we might synchronize them better, that sort of thing. So that's one of the areas underway. We've got a cycling master plan that's underway. We've got a number of different areas. We're doing transportation studies, sort of mini transportation studies. We've got a traffic operations review underway, transit route review underway, and all of those things will feed into what it will be the big master planning document. It'll talk about road networks and maybe even such things as alignment of roads or urbanizing some of the roads. So it becomes a great guiding document, and we'll have that in front of council late in 2021. And then what we do from there is they'll individual projects will come out of that overall document. So you'll see some exciting things over the next few years.
All right, and I misled you. I told you I wasn't going to mention the Parkway, but
okay.
Right behind us here is a segment of a road formerly known as what could be the Parkway. Will segments of that road be completed, not necessarily through Jackson Park, but maybe back down to Clonsilla? Is that something this master plan will look at?
Well, yeah, and so the process that we have right now is we're under a provincial order, right, which basically stopped any work on that thing called the Parkway, right, and anything that the Parkway was intended to resolve. So what that means is we needed to go back and do some of the work over again. And coming out of the transportation master plan, there will be a terms of reference that will be developed. That goes back to the province. The province really has some oversight on what happens related to whatever the issues were that were packaged up in that project called the Parkway. So it's going to be a long process before we get to all of the resolution that was intended from that major road network, but there's a lot of minor things that we can do as we're moving that body of work along.
Well, that's great to hear. And yeah, because as our community grows, obviously people need to get places, and whether it's by bike, and there's been some great improvements there as far as bike passageways, but people still like their cars, and obviously we're trying to get people to use more public transit. Sheldon, I want to move to a topic. Your portfolio includes housing, and that would be the City of Peterborough's portfolio of housing and supporting affordable housing. And my knowledge of the city, I think the City of Peterborough has been relatively progressive with some of the entities it's formed over the years to help deal with this. But tell us what your role is with housing and what's happening. What are some of the highlights right now to deal with? We're seeing lots of new development coming in, but we also have some challenges, COVID notwithstanding, about with affordable rental properties and other affordable housing.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a significant issue. It's one of council's priorities, and there is a 10-year housing and homelessness plan that's supposed to guide our thinking and our policies and what we're striving for housing and homelessness. Peterborough remains a difficult environment to create affordable housing because of its growing. Rents are going up at a high rate, and there's not enough rentals. I think, as you've probably seen on the planning applications over the last 4 or 5 months since COVID has started to allow council decisions meetings again, that there is a significant amount of growth happening that's being proposed in Peterborough, which is exciting, and hopefully that does get at some of the affordability issues by increasing supply. I can say that during COVID, the most challenging aspect of my portfolio has been the homelessness portfolio and ensuring that services have been able to be provided. We're quite proud that there's been no COVID cases in the homeless system. There's been some starts to various things like creating areas, separate facilities for people to go when they need to quarantine through the homeless system. That's been a challenge that we've been able to face. Council's decided to redo one of our office buildings into a larger homeless shelter for the next 2 years. That's been done. So there's been a lot of things changed in homelessness to try to address the issues of COVID, of greater social distancing, the threat that more people may be homeless because of a higher unemployment rate. So we have been able to address that, but it remains a risk and something that's constantly changing this year. But it has also been an opportunity for us to try out new things too. And hopefully with the opening of the new Brock Mission Shelter on Murray Street in the spring of 2021, that's on target. The opening of this new emergency shelter that'll be 24/7 on Wolf Street, providing a lot more flexibility for us to meet the needs during COVID.